on left side. Every seat by the window. I need the whole back of the bus. Everybody, move over. You too. Slide your feet over. Everything by this window. I need this. All these seats. Move over. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you. Look. He deserve an EGOT, he hot, colored like a peacock. Idiot, slapper, scrapper, mad rapper, D-dot. Bad dopper, clapper, bad rapper. 3 shots, lethal weapons, lethal injections through off your T-top. JFK smiling down through the treetops. Like hold your head, my nigga, wait for the beat drop. Old niggas wagging fingers like it's bebop. Cowboys and girls whistling world like it's teapots. My pen to make your arm heavy G-shot. While your mom trolling steady on the G. Lights up, mics up, get them likes up. What's good, gang? Good morning. It's time. This, that, and the third morning show. We are back. It is Thursday. I am your host, Charles Brown. What's good, chat? Yes, you did see me a few hours ago on the What Show with TJ and Fliz, and yet and still I am back this morning. Ready to work, doing my job. I'm ready to show out, show up. Regal Love in the building. Salute. Cool Said in the building. TJ Swords in the building. Chapo in the building. Capricorn baby. Quickie Sticky. Listen, Journey, what's good? Journey said Charles had me online last night until midnight, and here I am at 8 a.m. I appreciate you, gang. I appreciate you being here. Couch Potato, Candy of the Lands. And I didn't get too wasted last night. I only had a little bit of, me and TJ, what we had? I think we had a shot of Screwball and some Long Island iced tea. That's what we call a light night. Cool Said, what's good? Feek77 off of Twitch. Salute to Feek77. What's going on? All right. Listen, Chapo in the building. We're going to get it going this morning, gang. There's a lot going on, right? There is a lot going on. Kendrick birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday to K. Dot, right? And we want to talk about a lot of things that is going on in this situation. Black RN, salute, 2013. Gracie's in the building. Gracie's Garden, if I'm saying that right. Appreciate you. Positively Pepper Jones. Gang, listen. Love my chat, man. I'm just going to be honest. Weekend drinks only, folks. Weekend drinks only. Salute to Walter. Bethany in the building. Listen, gang. We didn't ask for this fight, gang. We didn't ask for this fight. Most of the people in this chat that watch my channel, we just hip-hop heads. We didn't ask for this constant fight about numbers and sales and streams. We actually hate it. We got dragged into this situation kicking and screaming, gang. Right? We got dragged into this who's number one from the sales in the streams and how many weeks it went and how fast it went. The hip-hop heads hate that conversation. Right? The hip-hop heads, we don't like it at all. Right? I feel like reporting on this ICEMAN stuff is going to go up, going to go down. That's some shit that we rather not do. We rather talk about numbers. We rather talk about music, not numbers, right? But here we are, right, Joyce? Here we are once again. We got to bring up that K. Dot actually did something special, right? We got to bring up that Dot did something special. Dot somehow, just being a rapper's rapper, got a nemesis. Back in, what was it? What year was that he dropped the Control verse? He got a couple nemesis. But his main one is the Bubble Bath rapper. And we've noticed that we got to keep talking about what Dot actually did the summer before last and last summer and up to now. Because it's been a whole lot of talk about the ICEMAN album, and rightfully so. They needed time to celebrate. I give the Drake fans their moment. I've been trying to stay cool and chill, right? Let them have a moment. Let them have 2 or 3 weeks, right? Let them have their weeks. Let them be happy, gang. Everybody deserves. All I really want is to be happy, right? They just want to be happy. Let them be happy, gang. Iceman had 4 weeks at #1. Let that rock. Charles, why? Why? Right? We don't want to be counting how many weeks. We don't rate music about how good it's become that though. Right? That's the only way people can say stuff is good or bad about how many weeks is on the charts. Is weird. Right? I'm gonna keep hyping up this list because I did it last year, and I know I dropped it too late, but a lot of y'all didn't check it out. Only about 2,000 of y'all checked it out. I did a list of the top 25 albums, and I'm doing it again this year. I know I dropped it too late. I dropped it in January. I should have dropped it in December, right? I get it. But those albums I put on that list, on the top 25 list, it wasn't about the numbers they sold, right? We've gotten to this point where it's all about the numbers. You can fake numbers, gang. I don't know if you know that. It's about how the album sounded culturally. You gotta sound a certain way culturally with this music. And it's not about how many records you can get to hit the billboard. It could be you can get 20 records on the billboard and they be all trash. So it's not about that. But here we are. We got to talk about who's #1. I hate the conversation. I just told you Vince Staples dropped a dope ass album, right? Sold 14K. But it's not about the album in the history of hip hop, right? My top 25 list that I made, it got some bangers on there, and none of them sold. I mean, they did their thing, but I think I had Clips at #1. #2 was Freddie Gibbs, and Freddie just dropped the deluxe. I started listening to the deluxe yesterday. It's just fire. He dropped the deluxe too. You Only Live Once. I think it's You Only Live Once, or You Only Die Once, something like that. I don't know. But the joint is fire. I had Mobb Deep's last album on there. I had Nas on there. I had De La Soul on there. I had Chance the Rapper on there. I had quite a few really good albums on that list last year, and none of it was based on their numbers, right? Conway was on there. Benny was on there. But here we are. We at a point now, all we got to do now is point out what it sold. And now you won the conversation. And for about 4 weeks, they won the conversation in their mind. It didn't matter to us, right? We didn't care, right? But at the end of the day, we still got to have that conversation. Yes, numbers do matter to a degree, right? We're not going to say that because when Fugees dropped and they went #1 for weeks and they was the biggest thing, oh yeah, we love that for hip hop. So we can't say we don't care at all. We love getting the accolades. We love when Lauryn Hill stood up on that stage and accepted those Grammys. And we loved when, different artists that we knew were and we supported Fresh Prince, not Will Smith. We supported Fresh Prince when they boycotted the Grammys because they didn't even want to give hip hop its own category. So we had to make numbers to prove we were a viable genre. So yes, we're not saying the numbers don't matter, right? But what we are saying is that doesn't make your record good, right? And here we are where Iceman is next week supposedly going to drop to #2. Most of the time, we don't care. Hip hop heads, we don't care what number your album is, right? It doesn't mean that it's good or bad because it's dropping to #2. But what we do know is it means a lot to those guys on that side. It means a lot to be #1. Just for reference, right? Now, Dot didn't stay #1 for 22 weeks straight, but GNX went #1 for 22 weeks. All right. Let me read this. Kendrick Lamar GNX spent 3 consecutive weeks at #1 on the all-genre Billboard 200 chart. It broke the record for the most weeks at the #1 on the Billboard Top Rap Albums chart, holding the spot for 22 weeks. Okay, so we don't care about all that. But that's something that it did. That thing came back and forth. Luther came back and forth. A lot of things happened, right? It never not dominated for a very long time. Okay? So we don't care. We don't care, but we do acknowledge that there was a battle with these two, and numbers was going to be a key component because that's all that other side talks about. So we're watching the numbers of ICEMAN, which we could say can be conflated, right? We could say that a lot of that stuff isn't real, and the numbers are kind of wonky because the physical sales and the the other kind of sales that they get when they do how many people bought a digital release and a digital drop, this, that, and the third. Some of that stuff isn't matching up to the massive streaming numbers because it should be more, right? So we're just saying it kind of the smell test ain't passing. But you know what? We're gonna take it for what it is. And we know culturally, right? We know culturally that was being played out here in these streets. All right. You can say a lot of stuff, but you can't say that culturally people wasn't jamming to Squabble Up in the real world. They were jamming the TV off in the real world. They were jamming the Luther in the real world. It didn't feel like, where are all these streams coming from? It didn't feel like that, right? There's a video right now, gang. And I get it. It could be subjective to where they were. But there's a video right now, and I don't really, everything is all relative to certain situations. But I'm going to say it anyway. There's a video right now that says, I thought Drake was supposed to save the clubs. Because wasn't that what they were telling us? And in this particular club, don't know where it was, they were playing, I believe it was the Janice STFU record, and the crowd wasn't moving. And then they put on, I believe it was TV Off. It was TV Off or Squabble Up, one or the other. I can find the video, but we don't need to, right? The place started going insane. Now, you can take that for what it's worth, right? It is what it is. But what I'm saying is we knew, right? DJ Maker said that was in St. Louis. We knew really outside, they really was listening to TV Off, Luther, right? Squabble Up. And of course, not like us. Everyone, it wasn't no da-da-da-da. Priscilla said it was shebang. Okay, shebang. So they played shebang. The crowd was like, yeah, okay. And then they put a record on from 2 years ago and it went nuts, right? So what I'm saying is we can feel it, gang. Like, you don't need to tell me that K-Dot music was outside is where I'm going with this conversation. You don't need to tell me that. And I'm going to be fair. I did hear a couple. I heard about 2 or 3 cars. 2 or 3 cars playing Drake. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not saying that it ain't a couple guys playing Drake. We're not going to do that. Right? But that GNX album, gang, I'm going to be honest. Listen, you can say whatever you want in that chat. You can't say that album wasn't popping. A year later. 2 years later. It's just one of them records, gang. It's just one of them ones. When you hear them horns, dun, 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 listen, he put some smackers on that album, gang. I'm just gonna be honest. So get in the comments and say that nigga Blake Charles glazing. But I'm just keeping it a buck. It definitely was no question. And that's what I'm talking about. I got a video coming probably today that ICEMAN gained everything, but what it was supposed to gain is the respect. We don't like to pit these rappers against each other, but this is where we are, right? This is where we are. And we really saw a man really make a really good hip-hop album. Now, I'm going to keep this fair. I've heard a couple people say ICEMAN was solid, right? People say, I've heard that it's solid. I've heard people say that. Nobody's calling Hibbity Bibbity solid or Maid of Honor. Nobody's saying that. Maybe somebody over in Toronto somewhere, but I don't hear too many people going off about those two albums. They got dropped for almost no reason. But we're gonna stick to the ICEMAN, the 18-track ICEMAN. It's going. They're saying it's gonna go number 2, right, next week, which is whatever. Because in hip hop we don't care. But I'm gonna be honest, gang. I don't even know how it's number 2 because I don't hear it. That's where I'm going with this, right? This is where the real conversation. I don't even know how it was number 1 for 4 weeks. We get it that he has a pop presence. He has a massive fan base, and a lot of people are running it up just to say they did it, just so it can have these numbers. And there is some funny business being done with the numbers. But even with all of that, I don't know how culturally that thing is going to stand up in time. I really don't. When we start naming albums, when we start doing top 100 albums, I don't even see it of all times. It's going to be tough, gang. It's going to be tough. GNX going to be in that conversation. Mad Heavy. And a couple other Drake albums might be in that conversation. Not this one. So for that thing to be number 1 for 4 weeks is a great accomplishment because I don't hear no one talking about it. Really at this point, we've hit a point where we're only hearing about 2 songs. And not in like a good way. We're not hearing about these songs, the rest of the songs on the album. The first song, the one that I said was the good song, Make Them Pay. Make Them Pay, I believe is the name of the song. The first song, right? That one went up, broke a record, according to Spotify. And then Spotify had to walk it back. They broke a record, fastest rising rap single something. Then they had to walk that back. Oh, sorry guys, we made a mistake. It didn't break Kendrick's record. But that thing fell off the charts almost immediately. They had a ready-made excuse. It was an intro. Well, some people intros are classic, and they, you know what I mean? Every record every first record is an intro, right? It's just an intro. Does it have a name? Yes. Is the name intro? No. Okay, then it's not an intro. It's the first record. Okay? But that was the excuse. It's just an intro. Intros typically fall off, sure, because this was the biggest record in the world for like a week. And then it went down. It doesn't have the staying power. None of this stuff does to me. When GNX dropped, you was force fed. You liked it or not. I think was it who did that mustard commercial? Was it Heinz ketchup? Mustard, like It was a cultural movement, right? They weren't even trying. It was every time you looked up, something was culturally being used from GNX. Then the boy went on a tour. That man went on a tour all over the world, selling out places that they don't even let rappers really go. Right? I don't know if you know that. A couple of those stadiums, they don't book rappers. And he sold out every one of them. They canceled one, right? Last minute because of the stadium, safety to the stadium. It was sold out. But they canceled that one show. He was there ready to perform. The crowd was there. I believe it was Brazil. I believe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it was. But he was there, right? It was moments. You didn't have to ask, you saw it, right? Skate said, Skate and Destroy said Heinz, NFL, NBA, MLB, Gatorade, right? It was crazy. Kenny had Gatorade commercials. They saying GNX didn't have stand power, but Luther broke records from the 80s. Priscilla said the commercial actually won awards. Gang, what they say, what a time to be alive, right? What a time to be alive. And I'm just not getting that feeling right now from the Iceman. I'm going to be honest, the rollout, he did what he's supposed to do. The rollout, he had ice, 350 tons of ice. They licking the ice, picking at it. Oh yeah, that got a lot of worldwide attention. Let's just be honest. Some may say it was genius. And to a degree it was, right? To a degree it was. And salute to Poison Ivy, said I went to the GNX tour twice. And there were lots of bots dancing. I went to the GNX tour too. It was absolutely insane. And Dot did not get tired. Your boy Dot did. I keep saying this because it was crazy. I was like, Dot, you really gonna do the whole Euphoria? You doing the whole thing? It's like 5 minutes, gang. You could give us half and go take a water break. No, that dude walked around that stage, did the whole Euphoria, every single line, breath control and everything. Morty said the Columbia show got canceled. Safety concerns. The stadium, right? Dot won an Emmy for the Super Bowl performance. Gang, this last 2 years was insane. And your boy Ready made excuses. I don't apply for awards anymore because they're gonna front on me, right? It was Bogota, Colombia, at Viva Claro. The cancellation was reported as being due to logistical issues. Right, the stadium had issues. They knew that before they booked it, but they wanted to laugh and say, how your show got so canceled. But intelligent people understood what happened. Right, intelligent people got it. The world moved on. Right. Bala said, Dot, would he run 6 miles a day? It's crazy. Crazy, right? I was like, bro, you don't have to do this. We know you for it. You don't have to. You can cut it right there, right in the middle. Bang, just cut it right there. You don't got, nah. He did the whole Euphoria and kept going. 2-hour show. Ended it off with one of my favorite songs, a slept on song on the whole album. What's the name of the last one? So, gonna let you know, the joint with Scissor. Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs on the entire album. Being said, the breath control is Gloria. One of my personal favorites on the whole album. Priscilla said, give him an EGOT. Me and K-Dot gonna get that EGOT, that elusive EGOT. Right? But my whole point is, man, and we know that besides the funny business going on with that album over there, it just don't feel like it's sticking. People are telling you it don't hit the same. The lyrics don't hit the same like they used to, right? Once this battle uncovered what we know now, it don't hit the same. We used to could tolerate some of this nonsense, right? Grown man, single man, which is whatever. Nothing wrong being single, right? But the debauchery and this, that, and the third, it's like somewhere you gotta grow. Like we kind of growing up. And yeah, you wanna get busy on the microphone, this, that, and the third, but some of this stuff we low key need the other side of your life, bro. Right? And people will say, Charles, well, when you try to get deep, then y'all dissect it, try to clown him for it. He just told you that he had to be his treat his dad like his big brother, and you clowned him. No, we didn't clown him. We analyzed the sentence because you don't get much from the guy, right? He said, I had to take care of my mother and treat my dad like a big brother. That's a lot to unpack, but he don't give you too much of that because he goes right back to the stuff with no substance. I believe that's the one song I said it was a good song. But there's so much more to getting the cultural love, the cultural cachet that they say Jay-Z got, right? And others that K-Dot got and the Clips got. It's a lot more to it, right? And Baldwin, I'm going to be honest, you're right. To be fair, no music sticks anymore, too much to consume. That is a fact. It is a lot to consume. I'm just going to be honest. You are right, Baldwin. There is a lot to consume, but some guys can. That's the problem with hip hop right now too. It's too much coming out that's not good. But at the end of the day, right? There are people who are actually getting back to making good music. I've been hearing a lot of good music. I told you my Instagram thing is crazy right now. Open my Instagram, the first 1, 2, or 3 gonna be some new rapper that's really rapping, spitting some good shit. I can't even keep up with all the names no more. So hip hop is getting back to where it's going. Yes, there is a lot of music dropping, right? But look at Rhapsody just dropped. It's going to be crazy. It's been crazy. Last year was crazy. This year going to be even crazier, right? And it's just a moment. It's a time where you're going to have to understand what you're looking for and who to look for. Okay? But I don't think what we got with ICEMAN, I don't think we got sustenance. I think we got a bunch of records, and I think it was too hard to focus when you're trying to put out 43 tracks at once. Right? When you're trying to put out 43 tracks at once. And I'm going to read this. Hoyt wrote this. He probably wants me to see this. Drake's track, Make Them Cry. I think that's the one I said was it was the first one. I think, is that Make Them Cry or Make Them Pay? Make Them Cry is the first one. From his triple album, Iceman. Iceman is not a triple album. They wrote that, but it's not triple. Broke the all-time Spotify record for the biggest single-day streaming debut for a hip-hop song. It racked up 13.12 million streams in its first. Yeah, it did all that. And that's the one that they said they had to change the numbers. But that, I think the final number ended up being 13.2, something like that. It didn't break Dot's record because they had to walk that back, and Dot still held it. Dot still held a lot of records that they're trying to break, right? Hoyt is writing stuff that's already been debunked. Surpassing the previous record holder, Kendrick Lamar is Not Like Us at 12.8. It didn't break it, Dot gang. It actually fell short of the 25s because they made a error. Spotify, according to Spotify. I didn't say this shit, they did. We don't care if it broke it or not. What the fuck does it matter? No one in history, that shit's not gonna. What we doing? What make more cultural impact? Not Like Us or make them pay? Let's be honest, gang. Like, come on. What we doing? Right? I agree. Iceman trio was awful. So Iceman's not a trio. He dropped 3 albums, but they all separate. 2 of them flop. Bad. But they don't really talk about those. And when I do talk about them, they say, "Oh, now you want to your apples and oranges. You want to talk about you want to call them flops when it's convenient, but you don't want to talk about Iceman. No, you don't want to talk about Hibbity Bibbity. And you don't want to talk about Maid of Honor. So this is what we're doing, right?" Mariposa says Spotify posted a statement after those BTS K-pop fans put BTA on Spotify. Right? So what we're doing, we're getting back. Hip hop is cleansing itself. I've been saying this for over a year and some change now. We're getting really good music again. It's okay, young buck. Pull out your composition book, write your raps, take some time with them. We had gotten to a point where they were bragging about making songs in 5 minutes, gang. I'm not even lying to you. I can make a song in 5 minutes. He could do the beat in 10. I'll do the rap in 5. We mastered it in 20. Like, gang, it got crazy. They started bragging about not writing lyrics. They were making them up in the booth, gang. Which is, if you're good at that, that's fine. But they weren't good at it. They'd be like, let it play. I'm just going, I'm going to make something up. Like, da-da-da. No, gang, like, no, take some time with your shit. Right? You think Malice and Pusha T are like, just let the beat run. We gonna just say whatever and just, right? And anybody that know hip hop, they're gonna say Charles Nas was doing that. Nas did that for a while. Yes, Nas did used to go in the booth, let the music play, and make his rhymes up, and he would record them as he was saying them. First of all, that's fucking Nas. Gang, what are we doing? But at the same time, Nas was going in the booth, letting the music play. He would make the raps up, record it as he's spitting it, and he would keep the stuff he wanted to keep. But arguably, that's Nas's weakest time of his career, and he got away from that. Some of those albums that we were saying Nas wasn't good on, those were the albums he was doing that. So it's not really a good idea to just freestyle your whole album. All right? Let's just say that. Yes, you can get in the booth and get some ideas and record them and da-da-da, and then formulate them later. That's cool. But they weren't doing that. These younger rappers were like, make something up in the booth, leave it. That's it. Just go. And that'll be the whole record. It became a point where they weren't even worried about the quality of the record. Right? It got scary, and hip-hop got in a bad place, and now hip-hop is off the so-called off the hill of Billboard charts. Allegedly. Well, you do that for 10 years, you start grooming a crop of rappers who are more worried about just getting a repetitive hook out than actual good song. Then yeah, it's going to oversaturate the market, and it's going to dwindle down the game. So yeah, hip-hop eventually fell off. Well, not fell off, but not hip-hop the way we know it. The way they were doing it, hip-hop is cleansing itself. It's like the earth. If humankind dies tomorrow, the earth gonna be another billion years. It doesn't matter. It'll shake us off and be fine. It doesn't matter. So hip-hop shaking off a lot of nonsense, right? And what we're seeing is, we saw this guy come back. Yes, Iceman went #1 for 4 weeks. And the saddest part about it, if that is the only thing you can get in my comments and tell me about, it went 4 weeks at #1, then that's really sad, because that means that album has nothing else going on musically. Okay? A lot of money was spent to promote that album, millions. A lot of money went into getting that album there. GNX was a surprise drop, gang. I don't know if you know that. And they're gonna say, well, Charles, he did have the Super Bowl. Well, guess what? He earned that Super Bowl. He killed your favorite rapper on a worldwide stage. Then they gave him the Super Bowl. What else you need to know? You eat what you kill. Right? Favorite rapper taunted him. taunting him, nah, you gonna follow through. Well, he came through with a goddamn chainsaw, cut that boy in half, left his head on the ground. Boy went and called his lawyer, right? So, end of the day, we saw your boy get what he's deserved. A lot of people, I just heard some of my new contemporaries, these new Drake channels. I heard my guy, might have been D. Fran, was like, stop saying that GNX didn't have a rollout. Right? Salute. I hear you guys. They fighting back. I've been saying for a year, there are no competent Drake channels. Where they got two of them now, where the guys are going hard to defend their guy. They do it every day. I see them every day. Salute. Right? We finally got some competition, but we the muscles. We all protein over here, gang. Ain't worry about nothing y'all talking about. Okay? So now homeboy, and that's my guy. I ain't got no problem with neither one of them, right? But they're saying, and I'm not saying nothing wrong with promoting the album, yes, sir, but let's just keep it a buck. Let's just keep it a buck. He did a lot of promoting for that album. They're trying to say, stop saying that GNX didn't have any promotion. It's the new narrative. The guy went on a world tour, for God's sake. Stop saying it before it dropped. He was about to do the tour. But they were saying he had the Super Bowl, for God's sakes. Stop saying it was no rollout. Anybody that did the Super Bowl, yada, yada, yada. He didn't have the Super Bowl yet, though. Right? Am I bugging? Didn't GNX come out before the Super Bowl? I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. So he had the battle, right? He had the battle, and he had the pop out, and he had the announcement of the Super Bowl. He didn't have the Super Bowl yet. He had the announcement, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But this ICEMAN had a massive rollout for a long time. They were doing singles off ICEMAN in 2025. What did I miss as a single that made it to ICEMAN? And another thing they don't talk about, the people like me that don't care about numbers, we don't talk about this. But that did not put Not Like Us on GNX. We wouldn't even have this it wouldn't even be a conversation. Right? It wouldn't even be a conversation. But what did I miss was on ICEMAN. One of them records. What Did I Miss came out a long time ago. And what's the other one? Which one? I believe they both made. Which one was on the? I think that one might be on Maid of Honor or Hibbity Bibbity. But if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure one of them records that came out in 2025 that already had its own numbers attached to it made that album. Right? So it's a lot going on where hip hop low key, this battle ain't even close in no kind of way. That let this shit breathe. He let it breathe. He's like, nah, I'm not gonna even do that. Because it'll make it even worse. He said, nah, because you guys really complained remember when Cardi put her song on her album? Them fucking Nicki fans and them other fans, they went crazy. She just did that to juice the numbers. And then Drake did the same thing in crickets. Right? So end of the day, I'm not going to bore you guys to death this morning with this conversation. But it's fine. Right? Because they've been talking numbers for 4 weeks straight. So the whole conversation was sparked by ICEMAN is about to hit number 2 next week. It's about to change the direction that it was going. It had already been going down. It started going down fast. I think we all know that, right? So that was the whole story. That was the whole story. That was the whole story. I got it right here. Drake's Iceman might slip from the top spot next week. A few months ago, when people doubted whether his commercial prowess was still strong as it once was, the feud with Kendrick Lamar had put a stain on his reputation, but evidently it wasn't strong enough to completely derail him from debuting at the top of the Billboard 200. The release of Iceman proved that he still commands the mainstream, and his place at the top of the chart has made it undeniable. However, after 4 weeks at the top, it appears the reign might be ending sometime soon. According to Kirko, Iceman's fifth week will see his place drop by one position. The album is set to sit at number 2 with 104K units sold, and that's still that's an impressive feat, right? All things considered, especially since not many albums in general have that type of stand power, whether at one or even in the top 10, right? So, yes, salute. Let them have their moment, right? But overall, if that's all you're clinging to, right? It's kind of it's kind of sad because let's just be honest. I don't know how many places, and I don't know how many at this point next week. I don't know. Okay, right now it's June. I don't know if any of these songs gonna ring off next June. Any one of these songs on Iceman gonna ring off next June outside of Drake circles. But I do know next June, you still gonna be able to put on Not Like Us. You still gonna be able to put on TV off in a crowded room, and it's still gonna go crazy. It is what it is. It is what it is. Salute Young Money becoming a member. Appreciate you. All right. So it just it feels like we didn't get the cultural movement that it could have been. Right? Baldwin said Big Crit had a great album. He was on my honorable mentions last year. It was so many good albums in 2025, gang. I'm just gonna be honest. It was so many albums. It was so many albums last year. It was so many. Like I said, I did a video top 25. This one gonna get more attention because I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it when I'm gonna drop it when I'm supposed to. I got some people already on the top 25 of 2026. I got a couple albums, but when I really sit down, yeah, we're gonna see what it is. Right? It is what it is. So, let's see, Charles, did you assign your mods again yet? I have some. I don't know if any mods in there right now. I don't know. I don't know who's in there right now. We might be missing some mods. What's going on? Right? Let me know who I need to kick. Put him on timeout. Gang, let's keep it moving, man. My little soliloquy is done. Right? My little soliloquy is done. Who do I need to make some mods this morning? Who? What we doing? My little soliloquy is done. Let me see what's going on. Ben, you great be a mod. How about that? If y'all need to cut some heads in there, let me know. Let me know. All right, do your thing. Get them out of here. I don't know what's happening over there. Sound like it's a whole lot going on. Sound like it's a whole lot going on in the chat. There's a whole lot going on that I am not privy to. We gonna see. We gonna see. All right. So, stats in the building. Stats says Super Bowl was after the album was already out. Right. Ron Stewie said there's nothing else out. So, of course, Iceman is number one. His timing was perfect. Timing was perfect. So, let me see what else we got going on. Let's move on. A lot of people in the building I didn't get to shout out. Groot Root. Jinxie, Rico Jones, Storm Randall, Priscilla, Tamila, Cat Williams. It's a lot going on. C&I, what's good? Candy of the Lands, Young Money, Journey, Angela Burris. What else going on? It's a lot of conversation, a lot of moving parts. Just time out. Mariposa, I appreciate you being a member for 6 months. I wonder what J Rock is when J Rock is dropping his album. That's probably coming out very soon. Probably coming out very soon. It's a lot of people planning a lot of things because it's the perfect time to drop. Flash burnt, right? It's a perfect time to drop. So we gonna see. Latrice in the building. All right, so let me move on. I don't know if you guys know this, but I thought this was low key, right? Us heads that's really hip hop. We had an issue with this guy, right? We had a real issue with this guy. But if what he's saying is true, this is a serious conversation. Allegedly, Lil Nas X has come out as bipolar, right? Yes, we had an issue. Most of us had an issue with this. First of all, we hated that he used that name, Nas, right? We hated that. Let's just be honest. But he had a bipolar episode allegedly. And this needs to be addressed because people don't get treatment. They don't admit that they have it and they don't treat it, right? We're going to talk about this because I feel like, yes, we had an issue with a lot of things he did. Don't get it twisted. I really tapped out. I tapped out at Lil Nas X very early, very, very early in the game before he went next level. And I saw him elevating into some nonsense. I was like, okay, all right, I'm good. I'm good on this guy. This is before he even came out with the devil, with this, all this stuff. I was already checked out, right? Already checked out. But and I saw him get arrested, this, that, and the third. I was like, oh, okay. It is what it is. But what made it important to me to address this story is there are a lot of rappers, and Kanye is saying he's bipolar now. He had tried to say he wasn't for a while. But there are a lot of people, right, that have this issue and they don't get help, right? They don't get help for it. I thought Poison already was. Hold on. Poison, I thought you already were a mod. I thought Poison Ivy already was a mod. I'm sorry. I mean, you can if you none of this shit is like mandatory. You know what I'm saying? If I make you a mod and you don't got to do nothing. It ain't nothing. It's all voluntary. What else going on? Homebody's in the building. All right. So let's talk about this. Because I feel like this needs to be discussed. It's not about this right here, not about his music or his persona or his antics. This is about a condition that many people suffer from, right? Many people suffer from, and they don't acknowledge it, they don't get help, and then they end up doing something crazy. We got, I know several people who are dealing with this right now, right? Several people. So I know he pushed a lot of buttons and he struck a lot of nerves with the antics, and he started falling off because of that. His career took a hit. He wasn't getting the numbers no more. He wasn't in this zeitgeist no more. And he knew it, right? So we have to address this, even if we think this ain't the right messenger, right? It ain't about being a perfect angel to people. It's about understanding that this is serious. All right. So let me read this. This is off hotnewhiphop.com. It's by Alexander Cole. Lil Nas X confirms bipolar diagnosis, and he reveals if new music is coming. Following an arrest last summer, Lil Nas X shied away from the limelight, but now he is back with an update on his life. Last August, Lil Nas X was arrested in Los Angeles after walking around naked during what appeared to be a mental health crisis. Right? I know a lot of you guys had a great time laughing at his incident, right? Because you didn't like the guy. But this is serious if this really what was going on. He was then hit with the felony police battery case before stepping away from the public eye. Right? On Wednesday, hold on, my bad. On Wednesday, the artist took to social media where he revealed that he has been doing what he has been doing as of late. It is here that Lil Nas X revealed that he's been in rehab and therapy, and furthermore, the artist was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Quote, first, where I've been in rehab for a few months. And since then, I've been back home, whether it's Atlanta or with my family in Los Angeles or with my friends, trying to ground myself down to earth and get out of my head. I have a therapist now and a psychiatrist, which has been really helpful. When I got my bipolar disorder diagnosis, I feel like I had known for the past few years, but I didn't want to admit it because I didn't want to have to take the medication. I don't know. I don't know. Have people think different of me. I mean, I'm already black and gay. Like, damn, God, come on. Black, gay, bipolar. I'm living life on extreme hard mode, okay? He says he's not ready to really drop no music just yet, but he is excited to do that, and I'm excited on this journey with you guys. The next chapter, da-da-da-da-da. Thank you guys for holding it down. I love you all, and I want to continue to try to make you proud. So what that all is saying, that young man had a bipolar moment, okay? I know that it's easier to laugh at people and this, that, and the third. I understand that. But when you start to understand, this could be your little nephew, your cousin that just needs to take his meds, right? People don't like how the meds make them feel. I understand that. But at the same time, when it's this severe, you need to get your meds and you need to take them. And they got different concoctions. They can make it heavy dosage, lighter dosage. It's all about getting your dosage right. Right? Purple Haze said, Lil Nas X is from the area. I grew up in Decatur. I hate to hear that he's battling these demons. Bing said, I should say some folks are scared of their meds, but you need them. Right? Chapo said he still has a chance to turn things around. I think he's too locked into his persona. I'm going to be honest. But he still needs to be healthy. He said had the MJ boots on and everything. He should focus on himself. Who cares about his music right now? Focus on your mental health. That's true. Remember when Kai Cenat talked about his struggles with mental health and the whole community said, F you, we don't care, disgusting behavior. Yeah. I think they just, with Kai Cenat, they're jealous that a kid that young has that much money. That was a different thing. They don't like Lil Nas X, but they don't feel that he's a threat. They don't like Kai Cenat because he makes so much money. Like, he makes so much. It's unfathomable that young black kid makes that much money. They can't. It really It doesn't matter what race, color, creed, they come after that kid. It's really over his success and his money. They don't like it. The journey. Mental health is still largely overlooked because it's not tangible. People don't feel like it's real and they can't touch it, but it's not true, right? CNI said, I'm not a fan of his. I'll pray for him and hope he gets better as a person. So this is what it is. Most of us in this chat not going to be Lil Nas fans. First of all, we're older. We're not into that. He's younger, right? We're not into that kind of music. Let's just be honest. But his antics turned a lot of us off, right? It's okay. We get it. You're gay, but you're popping out with the devil and this, that. It just got a little extreme. But at the same time, he's a human, right? And it's easy to misplace the human element in this stuff. Like when people die, they'd be like good riddance and stuff like that. It's not cool, right? And we got to understand that that's somebody's child, that's somebody's cousin, that's somebody's, hopefully somebody's brother, sister, whatever. He got a sister, daughter, whatever's going on, right? End of the day, we got to understand we all are struggling with mental health one way or another. It's just different extremes. And if you understand that you need help before you're walking down the street, apparently in Mary J. Blige boots, naked, you got to start to seek help. And I'm seeing people right now, right close to me, needing that guidance, needing that help, needing treatment. It's a lot. And it's not a thing where we can be dismissive. We got to acknowledge that it's very important to check your mental health and to get help with it, right? To get help with it. We see people that don't make it because of mental health. And then we're wondering what happened, what went wrong. Check in on your people, check in on your loved ones. People say that all the time, but then they come at these influencers and dog walk them and treat them like trash. Well, that gets in people's heads too. You'll check on your cousin. You're not going to do that to your cousin, but you'll do it to somebody else's cousin, right? I don't laugh at this dude. I get mad because this is who they're showing represent Black people. That's Walter. People have different takes on the situation, right? Jinxie says psych med patients report that they don't feel like themselves on the medication. That is true. That is very true. That is very true, right? So it's a double-edged sword. You got to figure out your dosage. And it's one thing to not feel like yourself, but it's another thing to go in full-on episodes. Okay? So it's a whole thing where it has to be, you got to level it out, right? You got to level it out. Being said, to be honest, in my opinion, everyone on earth struggles mentally, even just occasionally, because of the way society, I don't think it's occasionally. I think a lot of people struggle and don't show it. Some people can mask it. You can't, listen, before we get out of here, you cannot live in this place. It is pure uncertainty that you or people you love going to make it in the next 5 minutes. That is just that alone, not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow morning with all this stuff, that right there is literal anxiety. Even the strongest person is going to have some anxiety about their future, about their family, their loved ones. You can't live on earth without experiencing some form of mental anxiety, angst, uncertainty, stress, depression. It's just impossible. No one's that strong. Ain't nobody that ahead of the game where they have mastered not being stressed, not being anxious. It's just a fact, right? The Journey said, I watched my uncle his entire life live with ADHD and no medication. He was tortured until the day he died. He probably didn't get diagnosed, and then even after, if he did get diagnosed, he may have rejected it. It's up to the person. It's up to the person. It don't matter how much you've been a good psychiatrist to yourself, right? I'm my own psychiatrist in a lot of ways. You still need to talk to somebody, right? Everybody needs somebody to talk to, whether it's a therapist or not. Walter said, go to therapy, folks. I do, right? So in closing, right, with this thing with Lil Nas X, He's getting the treatment he needed. All right. And I know when he gets back on his feet, back on his antics, he gonna do what he do. But end of the day, we gotta accept what it is. That's a young man who openly suffered from bipolarism, and he chose to get help. And that's the moral of the story. All right. And that's what I'm gonna end this episode on. For real, everyone is someone something. There is nothing funny about what happened to X. That's a fact. All right. So on that note, I did put Button is mad in the thing, but Button was mad at Wemby from the Spurs, and he screamed on him. End the story. Ain't really nothing to talk about. I talked about it last night on the What Show, and that's all I got to say about that. Listen, gang, I think it's day 14. This is week 3 of the morning show. We have not missed the morning yet. When we miss a morning, you'll know. But right now we haven't missed the morning. For the most part, I've been on 8 o'clock, 8:15 at the very latest. 8:10, I've been locking in. Right? Coffee or not, right? I'm getting the shower and then I'm right here on the screen for you. I don't do this without the shower and brushing teeth and all that. So just so you know, right? You're not gonna see me till all that's taken care of. But end of the day, I appreciate you guys locking in. Another show in the books. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They ship all over the continental U.S. All right? And yeah, man, it is what it is. Homeboy just said I be hating on Drake. Gang, I'm a hip-hop head, man. I just talk the facts about hip-hop. And Drake be on the other side of that a lot of times. It is what it is, all right? Gang, I'm out of here. I appreciate you guys rocking with me. I'm going to be back later on today. I got 2 videos in mind. Just lock in with me, all right? I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
I need the whole left side. Every seat by the window. I need the whole back of the bus. Everybody, move over. You too. Slide your feet over. Everything by this window. I need this. All these seats. Move over. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you. Look. He deserve an EGOT, he hot, colored like a peacock. Idiot, slapper, scrapper, mad rapper, D-dot. Bad dopper, clapper, bad rapper. 3 shots, leap the weapons, lethal injections through off the T-top. JFK smiling down through the treetops. Like hold your head, my nigga, wait for the beat drop. Old niggas wagging fingers like it's bebop. Cowboys and girls whistling world like it's teapots. My pen to make your arm heavy G-shot. While your mom trolling.